Last night on Sister Wives, Meri Brown finally got real about Kody's relationship with Janelle and how it started, and how the way that it started really affected her because of things that happened when Janelle was still married to her brother. And this was something I've commented on my channel. I've said, it's odd that Janelle was saying certain things like, when she first met Kody, she said that she met him at this event and it was before they had gotten married, and that at the event she said, "Oh, I know him." And she had these feelings about him, and then apparently was still married to Meri's brother, and she's always said, "And I put it away." And Meri makes clear in the episode that aired last night that Janelle and her brother were very much still married when Janelle met Kody for the first time. She also made clear that she was not friends with Janelle because of anything other than her brother was married to her, but that her parents had always been close to Janelle and loved Janelle. And so Janelle was around not because Meri was friends with Janelle, but more so because after Janelle left her brother, she stayed close to Meri's parents. So I can't share a ton of the clips from last night because last week I did a video and I broke up the pieces of the videos and I did, 20 seconds of clips, and Discovery didn't like that. So I had to clip out all of my clips. So I apologize for not having the talking points or them speaking themselves, but I will break down to you what happened. So essentially, my views of Janelle after this this series of tell-alls have really changed, you guys. Like, Janelle's point of view about Kody has totally altered now that she's been paid and gotten what she wanted from Kody, and now that she has signed this enda. It's like she has nothing bad to say about this man. And it's really disconcerting given that Kody has treated her children so terribly. And it's very disconcerting given that Janelle was mistreated by Kody and was mistreated by Robin and was mistreated in this family. And yet now she's like singing his praises and continuing to bash Meri. Which makes me again feel like all of that twanning up to Meri was not to help Meri, but it was to Janelle get what she wants with it when it comes to money. And one thing I will say about this episode was Christine was so proud of Meri. Like, so proud of Meri for standing her ground, and so proud of Meri for speaking up to Kody and not backing down and not, letting him talk over her and standing up for her friends, and said that that was a different Meri, right? And she was glad to see Meri do that. Christine and David also spoke pretty openly about polygamy and how they don't feel like it's a good way for, people to live. It's women have to be indoctrinated, essentially, to think that they should live this way. That pain is a part of it. Like, you just have to survive the suffering, and somehow that's going to make you a better person. Meri said that as well. And so it was interesting because Meri and Christine are very much on this outside of I don't think that this was right for us. This belief system is false, and it tells women they have to suffer in order to get to heaven, which is what I've said on this channel for years. And Janelle did not say those things. She was mad at David for having an opinion that polygamy was foul. Mad at David for drawing with a broad brush. She actually said her stomach dropped and she felt ill listening to David speak about polygamy that way. And David was frank and was like, "But Janelle, where did you know?" He didn't say this to her, but he's saying "What happened to your family, Janelle? Where are you guys at? Did it work?" No, it did not. Janelle sounded like Robin the way she was defending Kody. Janelle sounded like Robin the way that she was defending polygamy. Janelle sounded like Robin the way that she defended Kody. Janelle sounded like a woman that got the money she wanted and now has forgotten everything that happened to her for years and all of the abuse she suffered. And now suddenly, Kody having an ego isn't a bad thing. It's not her problem. But there was a point in this talk where I just got so frustrated. And so it comes after Meri essentially explains to Suki that the way things went down before they got married, before Janelle came into the family, was that Janelle was married to her brother, and that Janelle and Kody only met through that relationship because they were sister-in-laws in that. Janelle developed feelings for Kody while she was still married to her brother. And then she finds out not long after this, and before she's either in the family or quickly into the family, that one of the reasons she wanted to marry Kody was because she wanted her sons to look like Kody and have his build. All the while, she was with her brother, Meri's brother, when she was having those thoughts. She was with her brother when she said she formed feelings for Kody. She was with Meri's brother when she's thinking about having children with Kody. And then, Meri and Kody did not pursue Janelle. Kody might have chatted with her, but he did not pursue Janelle. Okay. And Meri says that at one point in time, Janelle and Kody decide that they are a good match, and she is just supposed to accept it, and she can't complain because in her faith, she has to accept it to be a good wife and suffer to the end. So she really didn't have a choice. It was like, this is what they're going to do. Janelle lied originally in this, or misspoke. I don't know if it's a lie or if it's misspeaking, but she initially said in the same show, they pursued me. They pursued me. Meri and Kody both pursued me. They wanted me to be in their family. And then later, Suki says, so they asked you to be a part of their family. And then Janelle goes, oh no. They never asked me to be a part of their family. I asked them. So I was like, which is it, Janelle? Did they pursue you? Or did you pursue them? Right? So Meri didn't say it directly. But I got the excuse. I got the download, like the download of the information, went into my little database, and it spit out, the program. And the program said Meri was mad at Janelle because Meri learned very quickly that Janelle left her brother for Kody. And then she was forced to deal with the fact that Janelle not only was married to her brother, but then also left her brother so that she could be with Kody. And then kind of pretended like they split for different reasons. And then she's finding out that Janelle is thinking these things about Kody while she's still married to her brother, which further drives home that betrayal. And then makes comments about Kody's physique, which I'm guessing was insulting to Meri given that so my brother's not good enough for you. That's exactly why you wanted to marry Kody was for his body. And Meri prefaces it that once Janelle comes into the family, she has to deal with it. She doesn't get a lot of choice. She doesn't get a lot of say. And then they decide they're going to get married on her birthday. And they didn't think it was a big deal at all. And they just said that they would celebrate their anniversary on a different day and that the wedding only got moved after Kody's mom stepped in and was basically like, what are you doing? You can't be this heartless. You can't marry her on her birthday. And so they changed it to the day after Meri's birthday. And then again, Meri was wrong for feeling bad that they wanted to get married on her birthday. So the way that Meri describes it is from the very beginning of this relationship, her feelings were totally discounted and discarded. And Janelle has never taken any level of accountability for the fact that she left her brother for Kody and that she had feelings for Kody when she was married to her brother and then decided she was going to join the family, wants to get married on Meri's birthday, and then she spends, 30 years or whatever gaslighting Meri that her feelings and her reactions are the problem and not taking accountability whatsoever for her. And Janelle, instead of taking accountability for any of this, focuses on these minor fights that are happening when Meri is forced to live with a woman that was once married to her brother, who left her brother for Kody. And it's basically Meri reacting to that just perpetual gaslighting that she was enduring. And admittedly admitting she did not always respond well. She wasn't always the best person, but she's dealing with something that she's taught to accept. She can't have feelings about it. Her husband's going to do it. And then her brother's ex-wife decides she's going to do this. And then her brother's ex-wife refuses to take any responsibility for what she's done to her brother and to Meri, and then acts like Meri's the problem the whole time. That made me understand that Janelle is just like Robin. She was the first Robin. She was always the victim of Meri and never taking responsibility for her. And Meri even said that she felt like they totally lacked empathy for her. Another problem was that she was only able to have one child, and then Janelle has 6, and Janelle has the first child. Now, she didn't say this on this show, but Janelle literally admits that when she got pregnant before Meri, her first thought was she didn't even care that Meri was infertile because Meri had been so awful to her. It didn't bother her, and she was glad that she was the one that was going to have the first kid. In this episode, Janelle says that when they have fights about the sink, and Janelle is cleaning the dishes, and the food is going down the sink into the drain, and it's clogging the sink. Janelle then admits, in order to get back at Meri, then she starts stuffing food down the drain to cause even more jams. And she's laughing about it, like to her it's funny. And I'm like, Janelle, are you okay? Do you hear yourself talking, girl? Janelle acts like she's never at fault for anything, and that's what bothers me about her. Because the rational human being wouldn't discount somebody else's emotions in order to justify their stance. She has to explain that she married Kody by saying it wasn't a big deal, and she can't believe Meri thought it was a big deal. But I don't know how any of you would feel about that. I would feel like I'd want to clock her. Like, why would I want a what? No. So Meri is essentially really just talking about how the moment she comes into the family, it's like everything is just this perpetual gaslighting. Her whole marriage of her not being allowed to feel anything. All of her responses to this is wrong. She's the one that's wrong for responding to it because she's yelling or she's getting in people's faces. And Janelle is acting like yelling is somehow wrong when she's seemingly admitting to stuffing food down the drain just to piss Meri off. And then I said F you to her when she said this. I said F you. I was so angry when she said this. But on the episode, they show a clip of Meri responding to Kody's apology. Right. And Meri is not raising her voice. Meri is not being, rude. She is literally just saying, Kody, I'm not going to allow you to do this to me. And Janelle had the audacity to go, see? Yep, that's Meri. She's just being sharp. That's just what she's done. Just having a P, just being very sharp with her words. And I thought, Janelle, did you remember the episode when you and Kody were in each other's faces and you pointed your finger in his face and you said, F you? Or do you remember the episode where you literally were at Robin's house and you got up and walked away and said F you to Kody? Or the number of times you said F you to Kody and screamed right back at his face? And that entire exchange when her relationship was breaking down with Kody Janelle and Meri just sat there and said nothing and didn't raise her voice. And even when Kody and Meri actually do break up, she doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't say any expletives, and Robin makes it all about her. So even when she was leaving Kody, she couldn't even have a final say. And Janelle has the audacity to say because Meri said, I'm not going to let you speak about my friends that way. Meri's just being sharp. The lack of self-awareness on the part of Janelle is mind-boggling. The lack of empathy, because when Christine saw what Meri was doing, she was proud of her for standing up for herself and saying this was great to see her not back down. Kody said that Meri gets scrappy and she'll get in your face and she'll yell and she'll fight. He wanted to imply that Meri would punch people, but he didn't say it. It's like Janelle and Kody, they do the same gaslighting to Meri. And I don't know if Janelle does it to protect her own culpability, or if she's doing it because it's a byproduct of Kody's gaslighting on her. But the two of them have gaslit Meri so much for such a long time that even after leaving, Janelle doesn't have any empathy for Meri actually standing up for herself and instead says, yeah, that's just how Meri is. That's her being sharp. So, what I learned from Janelle is it's okay for her to say F you to Kody. It's okay for her to scream and yell in his face and say the Teflon Queen and talk and yell at him about, alcoholic families and whatever it was that they would scream and yell about, because I can name about 4 episodes where they screamed and yelled at each other. I cannot think of 4 episodes in the last 10 years where Meri has screamed at Kody, and even in that exchange, Meri didn't swear at him and say F you. Meri being assertive and standing up for herself and shining a mirror in the face of Janelle and Kody has made them so uncomfortable that Meri has been so abused by them, and that her reaction to their abuse is then the problem. I never thought I would honest to God get to this place with Meri, because for the years I totally believed the scapegoating that was going on in this family. But it was obvious last night that that's what they're doing. Kody acts like Meri is aggressive because she puts a mirror to his face and says it's not okay. She stood up for herself, and he was not okay with that because she was supposed to keep sweet. Janelle gets paid by Kody, and suddenly now she's all about keeping sweet again. She's all about defending polygamy again. She's all about getting mad that David says that polygamy is harmful and abusive and that the men treat the women badly. Janelle lies and said, I never felt like I had to compete in my marriage. When there was episodes when Kody said literally, you just need to be more like Robin and I'll stay with you. That's exactly what competing is. That's exactly what it is. He told you if you were more like Robin, you would be with him. That's what he told you. No, I never had to compete. She is putting back on her blinders. And I guarantee you, if Robin left Kody, Janelle would be back with him like that. That's how I felt last night. And I'm just proud for Meri finally sticking up for herself and saying it. And I get Meri now. Does it excuse if the kids got yelled at or screamed at? No. But I put culpability on the women in that situation too. Because Janelle, you chose to have children with a man that was married. You brought them into that. You exposed them to that. The one person that could have removed the kids from those situations where Meri was being abusive was you. Same with Christine. If Meri was so volatile and toxic to the kids, all they had to do was leave. That's it. They never take responsibility for their roles, Janelle and Kody. So, what are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. And please click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties!